welcome back. You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shannon Register, and every week we bring you news and information you can use on your next real estate transaction. If you've got a real estate question, give us a call here at the studio. That call-in number is 281-882-8088. We'll be happy to answer your question on the air, 281-882-8088. And as always, if you miss any of today's show, you can find it online at HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. We do video record all the segments, so if you miss anything, you can always go find that particular segment online without having to rewatch the whole show. All right, we're going to be talking about credit repair in this next segment. There are a lot of home buyers out there right now trying to get qualified because we're coming up on spring selling season, and a lot of people are out there trying to get qualified while the rates are still very good. So I brought in Vanessa Perry, and she's the owner of Impeccable Credit Services. So if you didn't think you could qualify for a loan, you definitely want to listen to this segment to hear what Vanessa has to say about getting your credit in order so that you can purchase a home. So welcome to the show, Vanessa.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So a lot of people want to buy a home, but they fear that they can't, so they lease instead. They go out and rent because they just don't feel like they can overcome the obstacles on their credit report. Have you ever seen a credit report that couldn't be overcome?
No.
It can all be overcome.
Yes.
That's good to hear, right? Okay, so when you have damaged credit, what's the first step to getting it back in order?
The first step is probably going to be getting a mortgage company to pull your credit to see exactly where it stands and to see what you're working with.
And then move on from there to see if you really, because your company, tell us what your company does. What do you guys do?
We help people get back on track. For many reasons, credit can go bad. A lot of people lose their jobs or, just life happens. Someone gets sick. And so what we do is we work on getting the credit cleaned up, but also building good existing trade lines and educating the client. Because if you only get the credit cleaned up and you do not build good existing trade lines, it will take an eternity to get the credit back.
So you're not a mortgage company. You help people get back on track. So first step is to get your credit pulled by a mortgage company, not just any lender, but a mortgage company to see if you can qualify. And if you can't, then they could come see you and you start helping them figure out where to begin.
Correct. A lot of people will pull their credit online and then they call and say, well, my credit's a 640. But what they don't know is the online services are not accurate as far as the credit score is concerned. They're usually accurate as far as the data, but as far as the credit score, you want either a mortgage company or a bank to pull your credit, and that's going to give you an accurate credit score.
Okay, all right. So then once you look at their credit, you kind of figure out what to do next, what's the quickest route to getting them a mortgage, right?
Exactly.
So is it true that if they have old debt that they should leave it alone and not touch it, or should they try to clean it up?
As far as, are you speaking like old collections and things of that nature?
If it's several years old and it's been sitting back there, should you dive back into it and try to fix it, or just leave it alone?
It's probably going to go a lot faster if you dive in and try to fix it.
Okay.
Because it's a combination of getting it cleaned up along with building good existing trade lines. And when you do both of those together and have the education, it just works fairly quickly.
So when you build new trade lines, what's the best trade line to start? Does that mean go out and buy a new car? Does that mean a credit card?
No. Typically the revolving accounts are what are going to be worth more points on the credit.
Okay.
And a lot of people will say, well, do I need to go out and purchase, you're not going to go out and buy new shoes or anything like that. What I tend to guide my clients is so that they don't get off track, you need the credit cards to build, but you don't want to get in the habit of just spending. So
right.
I have them pay some of their bills, like you can pay the electric bill or the phone bill, and then take the money you would have used to pay those bills and pay down the balance.
Okay, good. That's a good idea. So just establishing those trade lines with revolving credit.
Correct.
And what about, you get credit card offers to take this new credit card and pay off all those other credit cards and consolidate them. Is that a good idea, bad idea?
Well, you have to really think about what you're going to do. If it's a one-time thing for 0%, but you have to realize that once you go through and you max out that revolving trade line, it's going to pull your credit score down. Anything that's charged up above 30% is going to hurt you.
Okay.
So if you're using something to pay off debt, it's a lot smarter to go out and get a, not a revolving account, but an installment account.
Okay.
And so that way you don't have your credit card maxed out. The installment accounts are worth less points. So if you get an installment account, it's going to be higher interest.
So maybe a little bank loan to consolidate all of that debt. All right. And what about bankruptcy? How deadly is bankruptcy when you're trying to get a mortgage?
Bankruptcy is really bad. And as far as getting them removed, unless they're dismissed, you can't remove them either.
Okay.
And so, you know, you're going to have to let the bankruptcy season,
play its course.
5 years, I believe, before you can actually get a new house.
Okay.
So that's kind of the final step.
So some people, you know, back during this recession, they didn't go into bankruptcy. They just got into a short sale situation and sold their house, so it showed up as really slow credit. And I know that was a little damaging to their credit. Do you think that that's or how do you overcome that?
Those are definitely, we can definitely fix those. What a lot of people don't know is when they go out and they do a short sale, it reports on their credit report as a paid foreclosure. And so I know a lot of realtors don't know that either, and they're trying to help, but it actually shows up as a paid foreclosure. Yeah,
and foreclosure is just a hard thing to overcome. It's kind of like a broken lease.
Yeah, they are able to they can be fixed on the credit.
So who would you go to, your lender to change that, or you'd have to go through a service like yours?
Typically a service. I'm not sure if you can do it with the lender because you go straight through the credit bureaus to fix those.
Okay. All right. And what's the most common credit problem that you see that people bring to you?
You know, a lot of people have repossessions. Some have medical bills. There's quite a few foreclosures. Most everybody has a situation. A lot of entrepreneurs put everything they have into their business, and there's a way to avoid that as well. I mean, you can actually build business credit to protect your personal credit just in case something happens with the business.
Right. And what's the fastest way to improve your credit score?
Probably to build credit, to build good existing trade lines.
Okay. And we talked about the credit cards a little bit, about having some revolving credit with the credit cards, but not to max them out. What happens with a card like an American Express where, I mean, it may not be limitless, but you do pay the whole thing off in full every month? Does that still help you build your credit?
Amex isn't really worth much on the credit. I know it's one that everybody likes to have, but it's not worth much either way.
Okay. Just doesn't. But if you don't pay it, you get in trouble then.
Yes, exactly.
Make sure you pay it,
Amex
right?
is very unforgiving. So if you've ever had one of those and it goes bad, you're not getting another one.
All right. So a first-time home buyer that doesn't have any credit, you would just tell them to start opening at least one line, maybe two lines of credit?
Absolutely. And in the beginning, if they can't apply for unsecured credit cards, they can start off with secured credit cards.
Okay. And minimums to get a loan nowadays, minimum qualifying credit score?
640 credit score.
640. So when they pull that credit with the lender, they'll be able to tell that. And then if you want to have good credit, what should you be looking for? What kind of number?
For the best rate on a mortgage loan, you're looking at about a 740 credit score.
Okay.
Anything above 700, you're probably going to get the prime rate on vehicle loans.
Okay, and can you tell us the best way to reach you? Because I bet there are some people listening who want to buy a house and need your help. So how can they find you, Vanessa?
They can go to impeccablecreditservices.com.
Okay.
Or they can give us a call at 281-419-6811.
Okay, ImpeccableCreditServices.com.
Yes.
Ask for Vanessa Perry. She can help you fix your credit so you can purchase a home. And when you get ready to purchase your home, come see us over at Register Real Estate Advisors. We'll help you find that perfect home this spring. And if you need to sell your home, we can help you with that too. If you missed any of today's show, catch us at HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. We're going to be right back after a word from our sponsors. Don't go away. We'll be right back.